Okay, we're back. We're back. We're back. Is it going to work? Obviously, I just did a live by accident. Ha! Didn't even know I was live. But I was messing around with the speakers. My brother asked me a very funny question. He said to me, "Did Elvis die from because of his diet, because of what he ate?" And that's a blooming interesting question. So I thought we could learn together. So what I'm going to do, hi Angie, we're actually live now. I'm actually here now. Let's just have a look. We're live. Let me just tell everyone on Defending Elvis. Let's have a look. Right, let's have a look. We're just telling a few people. And we've got I think I've just done it twice on the same one. Doesn't matter. Right, we're live at the moment. Hello, I'm live. Hi, Mary. That's a new name, Mary Kerr. Is that new? How is everyone? So, my brother asked me a funny question about Elvis's diet. I just thought, yeah, let's have a look. I'm going to Google it. My brother said, was Elvis's death caused by Elvis's diet? Obviously, there's many, many reasons. I don't think I've ever properly looked into it. Let's have a look. I'm going to Google it, see what it says. Because this is my opinion. Elvis wasn't as overweight as everyone thought he was. I do think Elvis went through phases of gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. I also think there was a side effect of many of the prescribed medications he took that made him look bloated, made his stomach look bloated. I've always thought Elvis wasn't as big as people thought he was. So let me just check your comments. So Mary, you've been on before, yes? I'm sure you have. Mary's from South Africa. I'm sure you've been on before. So guys, I'm just going to Google it. Did Elvis die from overeating? I'm just going to see what it says. I'm really interested to know what the public perception is, where they try and blame Elvis's eating habits for his death. I'm really interested in it because when my brother said it to me, he was adamant that Elvis's eating caused his early death. But I personally don't think it was. I think many people say that his very rich diet caused his early death. I don't think so. How many people that eat, a mixed diet, whether it be pizzas or bacon or chocolates or sweets or cakes or pasta or bread, how many of them die at 42? I would say almost none. So I won't accept that Elvis died from his eating, even though it's hard to convince people different. But surely, I mean, I've eaten all different kinds of food my whole life. I wasn't going to die at 42. There's many overweight people. They didn't die at 42. So I'm not convinced that Elvis's eating habits is why he died at 42. I do think there's many reasons. I think obviously he inherited many medical problems. There's a thing to do with his grandparents being first cousins. Gladys had illnesses with her liver. There's many complications. Obviously, Elvis, as he got older, became more reliant on. I thought you had Mary. Elvis became more reliant on prescribed medication when he got older. So, and I would say, yes, he probably did abuse the prescribed medication. He relied on his doctors to help him, to fix him. He relied on pharmacists, on his tablets, his pills, to soothe his pain, his discomfort. He had many problems: glaucoma, twisted colon, liver, lung, breathing problems. It's even said that he may have had onset of arthritis. Elvis did have many medical complications, yeah? But do I think Elvis overeating caused his early death? I don't. In fact, if you look at the pictures of Elvis on his last holiday, which we'll get up, let's have a look. Let's see what we can do. Let's do it. Elvis on holiday, Hawaii. Let's just see if the pictures come up. Let's have a look. Let's see what pictures come up. Because I've always said that Elvis wasn't as overweight as people think he was. I've always said that. Now this, I'm pretty sure this is March 1977. Let's see if we can get it bigger. Can we get it bigger? I don't think it's going to go bigger. Now, let me see if there's a clearer picture. Now, obviously, he doesn't look well. He's pale. He's a bit puffy. You see Ginger Old in there. You see Dr. Nick. Let's have a look. There we are. I mean, you can see he's not well. We have to accept that. But he doesn't look big. This is what I was trying to say to my brother. I'm trying to see if we can make this bigger. Now, no one can tell me that... Let me just shut the door a minute, guys. I'll shut the door. I want to not be... Right. Let's have a look. So, guys. So, I don't think anyone can tell me that Elvis looks overweight in this picture. So, let's get your comments up so I can... So, the subject of this video is, was Elvis overweight and was overeating that caused his death? I personally don't think so. I think it was a mixture of many things. Now, many people will say to you that Elvis's eating caused him heart problems, blocked up his arteries with cholesterol. I've heard it a million times. I'm not convinced. And I still go back to the same old story, and that is, do all people that are overweight or eat the wrong foods die as early as 42? I don't think they do. I just don't think they do. So let's want to get the conversation up so that you guys can join in. Now, how many do all people that are overweight? Here we are, I've got it up now. So let's have a look. Let me read your opinions, guys, and then we're going to Google it a bit, and then we're going to look at some more pictures. Yeah, Elizabeth, there's a lot of people that eat badly. I'm surrounded by overweight people. When I go shopping, there's overweight people. When I go to school to collect my kids, there's overweight people. When I'm running, I see overweight people. They're not all dead at 42. Many of these overweight people are 40, 50, 60, 70. So I don't accept that if you have a bad diet, meaning, breads and pastas and pizzas and sweets and chocolates and crisps, Doritos, cakes, donuts, I don't accept that automatically means you die at 42. I just don't think so. I personally think for you to die at 42, you've got some serious health problems. Of course, that can be made worse by overtaking prescribed medications. Yeah. Also, if you've inherited illnesses, if you've had illnesses passed down to you, I think that's a problem. So my brother was trying to explain to me, look, I believe Elvis's eating shortened his life. And I was trying to say to my brother, well, I don't agree. I think there's many reasons why Elvis died at 42. And I did say to my brother, look at the pictures of Elvis on holiday in Hawaii at 42, and he doesn't look overweight. If you properly study the last few concerts of Elvis in 77, yeah, if you properly look, he doesn't actually look overweight. His face is puffy, his tummy's puffy, but he actually doesn't look overweight. His arms are thin, his legs are slim, his shoulders are slim. But the whole world, non-fans think Elvis was massive, binging on burgers, binging on horrible foods, right until the day he died. Many people think he was just constantly eating. It's just not true. I just don't believe it. So let me check your comments. So Martha said there was definitely heart disease in the family. I doubt he always ate the right kinds of food. Yeah, but Martha, this is what I said. Of course he ate a mixture of foods, didn't he? Yeah. But not everyone that dies, everyone that eats the wrong foods is dead at 42. Yeah. I've eaten the wrong foods my whole life. I'm not dead. So how many people do we know here on Team Elvis that have spent their life eating badly? They're not dead. Yeah. So yes, I accept that like a certain lifestyle can cause heart problems, like heavy drinking, alcohol, heavy smoking. But really, to cause heart problems through eating, I would say you'd have to be obese. I would say to cause damage to your body through the food you eat, you have to be constantly binging on crap, sweets, chocolates, cakes, donuts. Yeah, that's just my opinion, guys. So Mary, Elvis is meant to have died from an overdose from prescription drugs, although they said it was heart attack. Yes, had many inherited underlying problems. Now, Mary, this is my thing to that, and that is 100%. I do think Elvis abused his medication. I would never disagree with that. But remember, when you are very sick and very unwell, you're very desperate. When you're in a lot of pain and discomfort, you are very desperate. Very desperate. I really believe that. So when you're in serious pain, what do? You go run into your doctor. What do you want your doctor to do? Give you medication, soothe your pain, soothe your discomfort, heal your body. So all of us, I would say all of us here have at some point in our lives had pain. We've gone to our doctor, and what does a doctor do? He gives us prescribed medication, painkillers, downers, uppers. If we're depressed, uppers, Prozac. But also we will get anti-inflammatory tablets. We will have steroids. Like I had a stomach condition called ulcerative colitis. What did my doctor give me? Steroids. Yeah. Now it didn't work. It just made it worse. But it wasn't until I started the keto diet that I fixed myself. I fixed myself on the carnivore diet. But that isn't my point. My point is you turn to your doctors when you're in pain, when you're desperate. Elvis was the same. Elvis turned to his doctor when he was in pain, when he was desperate. Obviously, he had problems with his colon, with his bowels, severe constipation. Elvis had the worst constipation you can imagine. He also had the worst insomnia you can imagine. Yeah? So you imagine what it's like working constantly, but then having to perform at, whether it be making 2-3 movies a year or performing in the 70s in his Vegas concerts, doing 2-3 shows a day sometimes. So my point is, we also have a man who was very overworked, who felt pressured to work excessively because he had a lot of bills to pay. He had a lot of people reliant on him. He needed a lot of income to maintain his lifestyle, to maintain Graceland, to keep everyone happy. You know, all the staff, friends and family, he was paying for everything. A very generous man who gave away as much as he received. So there's an effect there, overworking. I agree, overworked and stress. I definitely agree with that. Now, we're just having a discussion, guys. The book came out before he died. Didn't help that for sure. He was so worried about that book. Yeah, I agree. the Elvis What Happened book. Let's get it. Whoa. From Dave Hebler, Sonny West, Red West. Now, not all of this book is bad, guys. I've read quite a few bits of this book. It's not all bad. But do I see it as a betrayal? 100%. Red West, Sonny West, Dave Hebler betrayed Elvis and never properly said sorry. Even Dave Hebler, the living person who wrote this book, has never said sorry, has never shown remorse or regret. And he should. Even though he's 80 odd years old, he should say sorry. But yes, that book definitely caused Elvis a lot of stress. 100%. 100% that book was very upsetting. But so was the second divorce settlement. The second divorce settlement was still going on in 1977. Priscilla was demanding more money. She had placed a debt on Graceland. Elvis had to pay her in installments because he couldn't afford to pay her for this second divorce settlement that he promised she would never do. She promised there would never be a second divorce settlement. She broke her promise. Some people say Robert Kardashian is the reason she went for a second divorce settlement. So yes, I do believe that this book added to the stress, but so did Priscilla demanding more money, even a percentage of his royalties, forcing him to sell part of his recording rights pre-1973. So that also was a problem. So let's keep looking. I agree that he wasn't as overweight as it said. Yeah, he was a bit overweight, and I do think his weight would go up and down, but he was not as big as people say. Even the Memphis Mafia, when they talk about Elvis, I always think they talk about him like he was massive, binging on food and burgers and binging on drugs. It's very unfair. So when I hear certain members of the Memphis Mafia say it, I think it's very unfair because it's not fully true. Hi, Frederick. How you going? We pray for you as well. So he was on the verge of losing his home. Yeah, I believe that. Because of this lien, this deed of trust was created to put this debt on Graceland, Elvis's home. He was desperate. He was like, how are we going to pay Priscilla? Priscilla, right at the end of Elvis's life, was demanding more money with her lawyers. So when Priscilla makes out everything was fine, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So let's keep checking your comments. So I'm going to show some more pictures. So Pat says Colonel Tom Parker overworked Elvis. He definitely did. But remember, Elvis also had a love of working. He loved being with the fans. Elvis felt happiest when he was performing. So yes, he was forced to overwork, but he wanted to overwork. He was a workaholic. He loved being with his fans. So it's not straightforward. Yeah, he was doing 2 concerts a day, sometimes 3. Yeah, he would have burned a lot of calories performing. That's right, Angie. So Debbie says he was suffering from water retention. Yeah, and maybe that was caused by a side effects of the medication. It's obvious the medications had side effects. It's obvious the prescribed medication caused bloating and puffiness and were addictive. Let's face it, guys. It's obvious that they were addictive. So let's keep going. People with colon trouble have distended tummy and bloated. Yeah, Deborah, I agree. And it does seem like Elvis had a distended colon. It does. A lot of stress, Colonel Tom Parker, pushing him too far. Yes, but I also think Elvis pushed himself too far. I really believe that. Elvis pushed himself too far. He was such a nice person that he really wanted to go to all the shows to keep the fans happy, because he felt the fans had paid their money, so he should do the shows. He didn't want to disappoint the fans. Remember, Elvis loved the fans. Yeah, so, Yeah, Deborah mentions that his bowels were backed up and locked up. They were. Debbie says little was known about the medications. Debbie, painkillers can cause constipation. He was in catch-22. That's fair enough. And he needed the painkillers. He was in a lot of pain, guys. So Frederick's watching in the car with Mum. Let's have a look. I'm just whizzing through your comments. I definitely think it was an assortment of things. It was a lot of unfair things that was said. Elizabeth, yeah. But the perception, the public perception, if you walked up to a complete stranger in the street and said, why do you think Elvis Presley died? They would say, binging on burgers, a drug addict. That's what they would say. And that he was fat. I don't think Elvis did binge on burgers. I don't think he was fat. I think his tummy was extended. I think his face was puffy. I don't think Elvis was a big fat man. I think that's very unfair to him. So Pat says, I feel Elvis was lonely when Lisa wasn't there, so he did more concerts to be with the fans. I understand that. You know, when you're that famous and you get that amount of attention, you wonder if people like you for the real you, for the true you. You wonder who your genuine friends are. So let's look at a few more pictures. Let's have a look. So I'm more responding to my brother's. My brother was basically saying to me, no, I think Elvis killed himself because of his bad eating habits. I don't agree. So in this picture, let's go back. View image. Now you can see he's got a tummy there, but I would say that is no different than the average tummy for a man in his 40s. Don't forget, he's 42. Slim arms, slim legs, a bit puffy on the face, slim shoulders, a bit of a puffy tummy. Pretty normal for a man in his 40s. I think. I would say most men in their 40s have got a tummy. I would say most men. Let's look at this one. This one's a bit clearer. See there, he doesn't look overweight there at all. Obviously, he's older. He's 42 now. Let's have a look. Let's see what pictures we've got here. Can you see from that one? There's old Billy there with Joe. Joe was a beautiful woman, wasn't she? Joe was beautiful. I totally see why Billy Smith fell in love with Joe. Elvis looks pretty normal there to me. His tummy doesn't look that big. This is proof that Elvis was not a big, overweight man when he died, I think. That's how I see it. Let me just check if there's any other pictures. We've seen that one. This one is obviously very well known. His legs, very slim. You can clearly see he's a bit puffy on his face, but his arms, his neck, his shoulders, his legs, completely normal. A bit of a tummy, but nothing unusual for a 42-year-old man, I don't think. Right, now so obviously we as fans, we're not happy. Let's go back to YouTube. We're not happy that Elvis is treated like this very fat man that died from overeating. I think it's very unfair. So let's just go with, let's just pipe, did Elvis die from overeating? Did Elvis die from overeating? And then we'll look at, see if we can find what Elvis liked to eat. It's one of my old videos. I made this a while ago. It just shows Elvis eating. I'm just interested to know if I said anything in it. I remember this was a while ago. Let's have a look. It's funny. I remember making that. But Elvis loved crystals, didn't he? Do we know crystals? They would make they give you a pack of burgers, these little small round burgers, a pack of them. And let's see what is that Lamar Fight. Let's see what Lamar Fight says.
Elvis in 1957, he would eat crisp bacon, sliced tomatoes, mashed potatoes and gravy, and sauerkraut, believe it or not, and mix it all together and eat it, and loved it. And Elvis would eat stuff till he got tired of it, and then he wouldn't eat anymore. So he got off of it. The last year of Elvis's life, he went back to eating mashed potatoes, sauerkraut. And I said, you know what you're doing here? What do you mean? I said, you're back, it's what you used to eat in 57. He said, never thought about that. Elvis.
So, I mean, don't forget, I'm on carnivore diet, I'm on keto diet. And to be honest with you, bacon is quite good for you. Yeah. So he said he had bacon, he had potato, he had sauerkraut. Don't see that as bad food. I don't see any of that as bad food. So what we're trying to understand here is why the public perception is so bad about Elvis, and why does the public think that Elvis was binging? Look, there's one here now. Elvis Presley was a binge eater. I don't know if he was. I think the public think he was. You know, a lot of these videos, I just don't trust them. Yeah. Let's see what the cook says. Let's see if we can find. Let's just have a, let's see something that's a bit more genuine, because you're always going to get, if you look, guys, you're always going to get loads of videos that call Elvis names, talk about him like he was fat, and put him down, belittle him, insult him. Right, let's see, what is this?
Thank you, gentlemen. Our next guest went to work at Graceland back in 1963, and for 18 years.
Before I'll just read your comments quickly, guys. So, right, here we go. So he had liver problems, caused puffy tummy. I think it's pretty normal for a man in his 40s to have a tummy. I think, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. You know, 1977, we are very young side. The massive baby boom generation was in youth. Elvis at 42 seemed like an older generation. I do remember that 40s, being in your 40s in the 1960s and 70s and 80s, 40 seemed very old. But now, 40, I think, is quite young. I personally think 40 is seen differently now in 2025. Me personally, I'm 57 years old. I'm 58 in July. I personally think 40 is very young. Yeah, I think to die at 42 is too young. But I know what you mean, Frederick. Being 40 in the 1970s, you were treated like you were very old. Yeah? So Debbie says, something bothers me due to personal experience. Is there a chance that meds hit him and he fell and suffocated? I know he had heart problems, but it just plays on my mind. Yeah, well, obviously I'm not a doctor, but you have a point. Does anyone else want to comment on that? Yeah, Elvis loved karate. He was fit. Elvis did karate for years and years, was very fit. If you look at anything of Elvis through the 1960s and 70s, up until about 73, he looked great. Didn't he? Elvis looked great. Slim and fit and tanned, and he looked full of energy. He looked great. It was the last 4 years, isn't it? The last 4 years, you see a big change. Yeah, the tabloids have always said that Elvis binged on burgers. They always have. The tabloids have always called Elvis a drug addict. I wish they focused more on the good that Elvis did. Frederick, some people have better genetics. Hi, Joanne. Some people have better genetics than others. It's an awful lot of crap. I've ate an awful lot of crap, but never get heavy. Yeah, come on, most people eat crap. I don't. It's only since I've been on this carnivore diet. You know, I'm on keto diet. I run a channel called Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. I know that the carnivore diet, the keto diet, can save your life, can slim you out. I'm 57, yeah? I'm a slim man because of the diet I choose to use, the keto diet, carnivore diet. So my point is this. How many of us know people that just eat everything? I would say almost everyone I know eats a mixture of everything. So they do eat healthy foods. They do eat bad foods. They eat burgers, they eat pizzas, spaghettis, sweets, chocolates, cakes, crisps, chips, yeah? They're not all dead at 42. So I don't think it's fair to blame a bad eating habit on dying young, dying at 42. I think that's very unfair. All of the people that I know that are that don't eat well, they're not fat and dead. Do you get my point, guys? So I always think when they try and blame Elvis's eating habits for his early death, I always think that's unfair. They ignore his medical problems. Of course, we have to weigh into the recipe of what caused an early death, the fact that he relied so much on prescribed medication. We can't ignore that. A man who is very uncomfortable, in a lot of pain, relied on his doctors for medication. We're the same now. If we're in pain or discomfort, we go to our doctors. We want our doctors to give us a tablet, don't we? We want our pain soothed. We want to feel happier, have more energy. We want to relax. We want to sleep. It doesn't make us drug addicts. It just means we've turned to our doctors for help. So Frederick says, tabloids here in the US were crazy after Elvis died. Every week, a death story. Dr. Nick Elvis. Yeah. It's all been sensationalized, hasn't it? Yeah, Chicky Blue, Elvis would have loved the keto diet. I think it would have done him a lot of good. I think, honestly, Chicky Blue, I think the keto diet would have done him a lot of good. Yeah, Elizabeth, I agree. 40 is very young. Fried peanut butter sandwiches with bacon, I heard. Yeah, but if any of us here were eating fried peanut butter sandwiches with bacon, would we be dead at 42? Of course not. It's not fair to say that because Elvis enjoyed something like that, because he enjoyed bacon a lot as well, didn't he? Sauerkraut. It's not fair to say that if you eat those foods, you're going to die at 42. That is what doesn't make sense. I understand people becoming very overweight, binge eating, becoming obese, and dying, 60, 70 because they're unwell. Not 42. Not 42. Right. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, Debbie, my father died from a heart attack, a sudden heart attack. He was only 63 years old, but he smoked, he chain smoked his whole life. He would spend, my dad was a gambler. He would play poker with his friends in a small room. He would sit up all night, chain smoking, playing poker with his friends, drinking whiskey, drinking brandy. It's typical Greek Cypriot thing to do. So he died at 63. It was the smoking that killed my dad. It wasn't his eating habits. I think many men that were heavy smokers through the 50s, 60s, died young from smoking. Yeah. My dad had a sudden heart attack. Yeah. So it's, I understand, Debbie, it's a difficult thing to talk about, isn't it? But I've always thought smoking killed my father. I've always thought many people that die in their 60s it's because of smoking. I've always thought that. Either heavy drinking or heavy smoking, or both. So Pat says there's a lot of overweight people here. They stay home and they're very overweight. Yeah, but they're not dead at 42. This is my point. Elvis wasn't obese. No way was Elvis obese. He had a slightly extended tummy, a puffy face, that's it. So we shouldn't put Elvis in the category of obese. That's not fair. But even obese people, guys, they're not dead at 42. This is my point. This is why I think it's very unfair that people blame Elvis's diet on why he died at 42. I don't think it's fair. Yeah, so Elizabeth's mother died at 34. I mean, that is so sad, Elizabeth. That's so young. It's too young to lose your mum. 34, it's way too young, Elizabeth. I send you love. I'm very sad that happened to you, Elizabeth. I pray for you, Elizabeth. But she would have probably had been born, I'm just guessing now, but people that die that young from heart problems, they're probably born with it, yeah? Born with something wrong with the heart. He moved and burnt calories on stage. It's very, I heard he worked to perform. I heard that Elvis exercised a lot. That Elvis, when he was getting ready for concerts or to make the movies, was really would exercise as if he was doing basic training in the army. Exercise like as if he was getting ready to make Rocky. Elvis liked exercising. When he was bored, he did karate. And he did it intensely. So I think Elvis exercised a lot in his life. Elvis wasn't sat around binging on food. Elvis was a busy guy, doing lots of tours and concerts and movies. Yeah, he was an active man, Elvis. So I would never allow, in my brain, I would never accept anyone saying that he was obese or lazy. No way. No way. And these concerts take a lot of energy, burn a lot of calories. Right until the day he died, he was burning energy. If you look at Elvis's last concerts that we're allowed to see on YouTube, he's running around the stage. Yeah, even at 42. Let's just listen to this, see if this says anything about Elvis's eating. This is one of Elvis's nurses, yeah?
She was Elvis Presley's cook. This is her collection of the favorite recipes of the king. Folks, please welcome Elvis's favorite cook, Mary Jenkins. Mary? Hi, Mary. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Come on down here and we'll talk a little bit, and then you're going to actually you're going to cook something for us, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you worked for Elvis Presley for 18 years?
Well, I've been at Graceland 25 years, but I worked for him 14 before he passed.
What was your
So yeah, just quickly read Frederick's post. Yeah, let's all give Elizabeth a big group hug. Elizabeth, group hugs for you. My grandmother, mum's mother, dropped dead like that at a family barbecue. She fell to the ground and dead instantly, chain smoker all her life, though she was 74. Thus, smoking killed and still does millions and millions of people. We know this. Many things are blamed on the diet, but smoking, we know anyone that I know that is a serious heavy smoker and they're in their 50s and 60s, they're very unwell. They're very unwell.
Relationship like with him? Did you see a lot of him?
A lot of him every day.
Was he friendly?
Just as friendly as he could be.
He treated you very well?
Couldn't want it to be treated no better.
Yeah. And you had, could you like joke with him? Would he joke back with you?
Yes.
Did he have a pretty good sense of humor?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a cook on staff there 24 hours a day, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what shift did you have?
The morning shift.
Morning shift. And so you'd be responsible for, obviously, breakfast, right?
That's right.
Now, what would breakfast be there at Graceland?
Well, he liked it, omelet, egg omelet for breakfast. He liked sausage and biscuits.
Right.
And cream of wheat.
Right.
Fresh orange juice. Well, he loved breakfast.
Hang on a minute. Let me see. Someone's at the door. Right, come on, it's okay. Quiet down. Shh, shh, shh. Oh. Right, shh. Shh, shh. Right, quiet, 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 quiet. Shh, shh. Sorry, guys. I want to hear this because she talks about what he had for breakfast. Let's hear what he has to say, okay?
And cream of wheat.
Right.
Fresh orange juice. Biscuits.
Right.
And omelet, egg omelet for breakfast.
Breakfast, right?
That's right.
Now, what would breakfast be there at Graceland? Responsible for, obviously,
Now, this is my point, guys. It's going to say what he has for breakfast, yeah? But my guess is everything she's going to say is typical of what everyone eats. Anyone on a balanced diet that eats a bit of everything, a moderate diet, she will say almost everything that everybody eats. My point is, just because people eat the foods she's now going to talk about, doesn't mean they die at 42. This is my point. Let's have a listen.
Breakfast, right?
That's right.
Now, what would breakfast be there at Graceland?
Well, he liked it, omelet, egg omelet for breakfast. He liked sausage and biscuits.
Right.
And cream of wheat.
Right.
Fresh orange juice. Well, he loved breakfast.
So a big country southern style breakfast.
That's right.
Yeah. And lunch? Did we have a lunch there?
Well, we wouldn't say lunch because whenever he would wake up, that would be lunch, breakfast,
what was it?
dinner, or whatever.
So, just depending on the time of day, that's the meal that we'd have.
Yeah.
If you were going to have a big party or a big family get together, what was like the best dinner or supper or a party meal you could make?
If we was going to have dinner.
Yeah. What was the favorite family dinner?
Dinner. Well, on his meat lines, he liked it roast beef, hamburger steak, boneless chicken, and ham steaks. Now that was his meat.
See, look, nothing that is said here shocks me. A high Vincenzo would try to. My brother asked me, my twin brother said to me today that he feels that Elvis's diet is why he died young. I said to my brother, I don't think so. I said to my brother, I think there's many reasons, and I actually think diet wasn't a big factor. Now, everyone's going to disagree with me. If you speak to most people, they'll go, oh, no, it was his diet that killed him. I don't agree. I've never seen Elvis. I've never thought of Elvis as a big fat man. I've never thought of him that way. If you really studied Elvis and looked at the videos properly and the pictures, Elvis was not a big fat man. Yes, his tummy would get fat. His face would get puffy. So I don't blame Elvis's diet for him dying at 42. How many people that eat badly, that are overweight, die at 42? It's very unusual. It's very rare. So I believe there are many, many reasons why Elvis died at the age of 42.
Yeah. So again, it was just a good, solid, all-American cook.
And black-eyed peas, fried peas, string beans, cream potatoes, and mixed vegetables. Those was his.
Let's go to.
See, that everything she just said, there's nothing in that shocks me at all. The types of food that Elvis liked.
Work here. We're gonna make now. Mary, come on over here. What? Oh God, they've moved the cameras. Mary.
Yeah. So Vincenzo, you say he was bloated from the pills. We don't know that, but obviously there's side effects from taking a lot of medication. Yeah. Now remember, Elvis was taking pills through the 60s and the early 70s. Elvis was taking pills, prescribed medication, even in 69, 70, 71. Elvis was very slim in 69, 70, 71. So why weren't the pills making him look bloated then? Now, don't forget, Elvis had serious constipation, so they would have given him steroids, like I showed you one the other day, prednisolone. Steroids cause bloating. But how about this? So, Vincenzo, I'm going to disagree with you a bit. How about this? Elvis may have had a serious, like IBS, IBD, Crohn's, colitis, yeah, that made his stomach inflamed. Maybe Elvis had a medical condition that caused inflammation of his colon, of his stomach, and that's why he looked bloated. Maybe the steroids they gave Elvis to reduce the inflammation so that he could have normal toilet habits, because Elvis was severely constipated. Maybe that's what caused the bloating, caused him to look overweight around his tummy, caused puffiness on his face. I don't think it's completely fair to just say that because Elvis took 10 tablets a day, he automatically was bloated. Maybe Elvis did have medical problems, serious medical problems. Now, some people will say the medical problems were caused by the prescribed pills, what the doctor was giving you. And I won't rule that out. Or it was caused by the fact that he was just not well. Maybe Elvis was bloated and puffy because he was just not well. He had inherited genetic problems from his grandparents, from his mother, from his father. His father had heart problems. So it's very easy for us to say it's the medication that caused all of Elvis's problems. His puffiness, his enlarged tummy, his blocked arteries. They say his heart had enlarged, much larger than a normal heart. His breathing problems, his twisted colon, his megacolon. Or he was just ill. And then he turned to his doctors and the doctors gave him medications. What do you do when you're ill? You turn to your doctor. Please help me. The doctor gives you painkillers, sedatives, anything to soothe you. He tries to give you medication to heal you. Anti-inflammatory tablets, steroids to fix you. And then when you put all these factors together, as well as being overworked, then you start to go, well, it's not fair to say that the prescribed medications were the only reason that caused him to be bloated. It's much more complicated. We've got books like Destined to Die Young. They have a whole different view of it. This alpha-1 syndrome he may have inherited. Sally Hoddle says it, even though I don't really agree with Sally Hoddle's book, but she says he inherited this alpha-1 syndrome that from down the Smiths bloodline. Then you've got Dr. Forrest Tennant's book that tries to explain Elvis' medical problems from childhood, obviously extreme insomnia. Yeah? So you get what I'm saying, guys? I don't think it's fair that we can just go, oh yeah, the pills made him ill. The pills clogged him up. The pills gave him a heart attack. The burgers caused him to die young. Him binge eating caused him to die young. It's very complicated. But to die at 42 is very unusual. Very unusual. So, yeah, so Vincenzo, we have shown the pictures of Hawaii, and he looked quite slim. He had a bit of a tummy. His face was puffy. So, Chicky Blue, meds can cause liver problems after long-term use and usual problems. The use to think medications could eradicate problems more than the diet back then. Yes, I agree. You're not well. You go to your doctor. Your doctor gives you a load of pills. You take them. it does damage to your body. It can damage your liver. It's the same now, guys. Even now, you go to your doctor, they give you pills that cause harm to your body, have serious side effects. Yeah, Gladys had heart problems, had liver problems. No one really knows, 100% why Gladys was unwell. But she was very sick, yeah? Yeah, they say he was born with a twisted colon, yeah. I don't know if it's true, but yes, I've heard that. You know, so I'm trying to... Yeah, Elvis had participating factors that added up together to cause his passing. Yeah, I think that's a fairer way of putting it. It was a mixture of many factors. Yeah, Lisa had colon problems as well, yeah. So it's very possible that they inherited problems with the colon. Let's listen a bit more to the cook.
We want everybody to be able to see you while you work.
All right.
Okay.
Let me take some lamb to fix.
So you're just going to use, what is it, like a tablespoon of butter?
Oh, that's a whole stick of butter.
Jeez, you could paint the garage with that, Mary.
Yeah, but that's the way he wanted it.
Damn. Quarter pound of butter if you're writing this down at home. And some toast.
Yeah, toast.
And then you're applying what appears to be peanut butter.
That's right. Peanut butter.
Applying the peanut butter. Now, was this a recipe that you invented or Elvis invented?
No, he went on a tour.
Uh-huh.
And when he came back, he brought this with him. And
Brought this back. Do you know the origin of this recipe?
well,
Okay, now bananas. Peanut butter and bananas. Oh my gosh, what a marvelous little tie-in with Marlon Brando's appearance. These bananas have been on the floor, Mary.
and the main thing about it, I had to go back 5 times.
Guys, have any of you ever tried one of these? I haven't. Have any of you ever tried one of these?
Before I got it right.
Well, I can see that. It's quite complicated.
Yes, it is.
And now you're so essentially... Now, please. Was he, did he treat you well? Did you have bonuses and...
Oh, yes. We got a $500 bonus every Christmas.
Uh-huh. Did he give you gifts?
In gifts.
Uh-huh. What kind of gifts would you get from Elvis?
This ring, he brought it from
Here, let me help you with that.
Bacon.
You're having a ring there that Elvis brought you?
Mm-hmm.
I guess just up there like that. Like...
Oh, you want it kind of like him, just so.
Yeah, that's right. And then you just serve that. And... There you go.
All right.
And about a dozen of those feeds one. So let me see the ring, Mary. Oh, that's beautiful. Emeralds and gold. And he bought you automobiles? What kind of cars?
Well, it was Cadillacs all the time, except he bought me one Ford. The first one I got was Ford.
Yeah, and then the rest
and
of the
that was 3 months after I was there.
Yeah. Did you enjoy your time there?
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I loved it. when I first went there, he said, Mary, you got a job as long as you want one.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I said, well, hey, but one thing about it, I want you to tell me that I got a job, and I want you to want me because I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed there until he passed.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad.
Still there now.
You're still working there now. Well, that's nice. Listen, I know it's a struggle to get up here from Tennessee, and I appreciate the time and trouble. Good to see you, Mary. Thanks for being here. Mary Jenkins.
So, yeah, she's a sweet lady, isn't she? I do think that he mocks her a little bit. I don't like that. I do think he's sort of laughing at her a bit, isn't he? I'm not happy with him as an interviewer, to be honest with you, on, Letterman's show, whatever it is. I'm not keen on the way he is. Let's have a look. So, to cut a long story short, I don't accept that Elvis ate himself to death. I don't think so. I don't believe it. I don't think Elvis would sit up in his bedroom gorging on food all day. I just don't believe it. I think it's bullshit. I think it's unfair to Elvis. I think it's a very unfair portrayal of Elvis. I do think there were many, many factors in why Elvis died so young at 42. I'm no doctor, but Dan says the sandwich is way overhyped. Elvis ate it all the time. He only had it a few times over a short period of time. It wasn't that he ate it all the time and for years. Yes, I agree. Dan, I'm with you. I agree. I agree, Dan. It's so unfair to Elvis. And what is wrong with a bit of peanut butter and a bit of banana? What is so bad about that? I just don't see the big deal. And a few slices of toast. I don't see the big deal. Elvis was not this giant obese man. Yeah, so Vincenzo tried it. I just don't think it's fair. I repeat it again and again. I don't think it's fair to say that Elvis died from binging on food. I think it's bullshit. Honestly, guys, I don't think it's fair. Anyway, guys, now what I want to do now, I want to jump over to Elvis Presley Fan on Keto and do another live there. We've been on here over an hour. So, guys, can you all meet me on Elvis Presley Fan on Keto in 2 minutes? Let me just read the last comments. I'm not happy with his doctors also. They have most control over him. I also heard he was having dental problems around the time of death. Yep. Obviously pain meds. Yeah. This is why we defend Elvis. I completely disagree that Elvis died from overeating. I think it's bullshit. And that was what I said to my brother. My brother wouldn't believe me, but I just don't agree with it. So guys, we're all going to Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. I'll be there straight away. I'm going to log out here and log back in. We're going to do another live stream on Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. 2 minutes, guys. Please join me. I'll see you all there in 2